So hello, Tuğberk.
Hello.
We are very happy to have you here today in our Eco Questions third interview. So our aim today is to have a grounded conversation on what makes sustainability possible or challenging in Cyprus. We would like to hear a lot from your experience, which is quite extensive in all sorts of areas. What have you gathered so far in your insights luggage that you can share with others that can feel inspired?
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. It's a subject that's always on my mind. And recently, of course, there is more and more need for protection of the environment and sustainability. So we just need to keep our hopes up.
Would you like to first introduce yourself shortly?
Sure, yeah. I'm Tuğberk Emirzade. I studied biology and I studied in the States, and after I finished my studies, I returned to Cyprus in 2002. And since then, I had always been part of conservation and environmental projects. For the past 4 years, I've been working as a biologist in Tashkent Nature Park. Now I'm the head of the seed bank. And also I work as a guide part-time for nature hikes. It's a nice way of getting people to spend more time in the nature and getting to know the nature.
So, well, as you've explained, your work touches on broader questions of sustainability and eco-business. Based on your experience, how would you describe the current landscape of sustainable initiatives and eco-enterprises in Cyprus? So, what key opportunities or challenges would you say stands out?
To describe this landscape in sustainable eco-businesses and things, simply it's inadequate. If we have to describe it in one way, it's inadequate. There are so few people concerned and actively trying to do something about sustainability. It's very, very few. There are lots of reasons, of course. We are living in I wouldn't even say a community, it's just a crowd of people who are, the large percentage of the population here is, let's say, in a transition. They are not thinking long term. It's just short term, just make the best of what they can in a short amount of time. So, and sustainability is basically long term thinking. So it's very difficult. The policies are not encouraging the professional careers and the businesses, how things work. It's not supporting this sustainable way of making businesses or entrepreneurship. And water waste is a big problem. It's unsustainable. In Cyprus there is very little water, and all over the world drinking water and water that people can use is very limited. In addition, getting this water to the people, transporting it, making it available has a big carbon footprint. However, there are no active measures which are trying to reduce this cost of water and the carbon footprint of water and the use of water. In the area that I live in, for the first 10 tons of water, you pay a basic rate. And I never use 10 tons in a month. I always try to conserve water. I don't waste water at home. I don't plant plants which need a lot of water. I use native plants which need very little water. So my water use in the summer could be maybe 4 tons per month, and in the winter it's like 2, maybe sometimes even 1. And I always have to pay for the 10 tons of water. I still don't waste water, and I don't care so much about paying for the 10 tons. But for the other people who are not focused on environment all the time, they say, I can use 10 tons even if I don't have to. I still don't pay more than the same rate. So even the authorities are not interested, concerned about changing policies to reduce this unsustainable way of living.
Well, let's talk a bit about future vision for eco-business models as well. How do you envision the development of eco-business models evolving in Cyprus over the next decade? And what innovations or structural changes do you believe are necessary to ensure this long-term sustainability?
These eco-businesses, these are the businesses which are actually trying to solve environmental problems by offering eco-friendly solutions and products. Mm-hmm. Is there any demand for these things to develop? This is the question. Again, in general, people are just trying to do what's the easiest, and what is easiest is not what is sustainable. Easiest thing is to use disposable items, disposable bags, disposable cutlery, whatever, fast food, everything in packages, not carrying their water bottles, using one-use items. And if there is no demand for sustainable things, eco-businesses do not develop. It's very simple. And it's not very hopeful. And people need to change their lifestyles a little bit.
Okay, and maybe education plays a big role in that.
Education plays a role, but it's not the only, it's one of the things that needs to be done.
Okay, but given your expertise in curriculum development, what role would you say education plays in fostering sustainable entrepreneurship? And how can eco-entrepreneurs be better equipped to balance environmental responsibility and economic viability? So looking more at the entrepreneurship end rather than the public.
Okay, education, it covers not only the entrepreneurs, but everybody. It has to be cover everyone living in this place. In the school systems, it's one thing to introduce education, environmental education, but we have discussed this with some experts in their field, and what they say is environmental education cannot be taught just like any other subjects, like math, history, geography. It's not like that. It's a philosophy that it becomes part of your belief system. So even if you teach the children that they need to protect turtles, if they know that this is true, but if they don't feel it, if they don't make it part of their character, they don't do it. So it has to be a way of living. It has to be in their bloodstream. It has to be in their genes. And this is very difficult. It has to be And there has to be a very serious program about educating the educators. And this cannot be limited to the schools. You have to have this for public education as well. It has to be everywhere. And then people will start maybe changing their lifestyles a little bit. It cannot be just a grade on your report that you have a high grade from the environment class.
And so maybe wanting to make change themselves.
Of course, like this straw, using plastic straws. Somehow this is a well-known fact now that people say, okay, it's just one plastic straw, but 6 billion people said it's just one straw, you know? And everybody is aware of this now. And there is a trend which is shifting towards paper straws now, except US. They went back to plastic straws. And was there a huge budget for this education program? No, it was simple. It's catchy and it spreads around easily. It's easy to understand. So things like this should be more and more in all parts of life, all parts of everyday living. I mean, the minute you wake up and open your eyes, you start your carbon footprint.
Okay, so there is a lot of work that falls upon the public as well, and also us as we interact with them to try and motivate this change to
Carbon
happen.
footprint also. People heard about it, but do they really understand how they are producing this?
How would you say you think businesses can effectively integrate conservation principles without compromising profitability aspect of their enterprises?
It's almost impossible. But they have to accept this. I mean, if someone is buying a packaged candy, bag of chips, they have to, when they decide that they want to eat a bag of chips, that means they should be accepting to pay for their proper way of disposing of this package. Not even disposing, managing the waste of this package. If you want to eat chips, then that means you want to pay or do what it takes to successfully and environmentally manage that waste that you produce because of your desires. And if they don't accept this, no business can be profitable and also sustainable at the same time. Of course, there are certain things you can base your business, your products on recyclable materials, for example, and produce something useful out of wastes. But that's very limited and very difficult. We have done it once in one of our sustainability projects. It was about a year ago. It was a 2-year project, and we collected glass waste. People were very good at bringing their glass waste to us. There is a lot of people sensitive to environment, and they don't want to really create a lot of waste. So when we started this service of glass crushing, a lot of people brought their glass waste to our center. And what we were doing is to crush the glass by a machine which was running on solar power. And we produced sand. And the sand was actually a product which had market value. It can be used in several different ways. It can be used in construction just as regular sand. It can be used for decoration and art activities. But most importantly, it's a material which is used in the filters of swimming pools. And currently, companies are importing recycled glass sand to be used in pool filters. So we can replace this way of importing glass sand from outside, which has much bigger carbon footprint, all the transportation and extra packaging and storage and things like that. So we calculated, and it's a profitable business actually. We did all the calculations. It only needs to be done in a bigger scale with more professional equipment. But there is no, we did it as an NGO with Karşıyaka Culture and Arts Association. However, there was no company which wanted to take over this business, which was profitable and environmental.
Why do you think so?
It's not as easy as importing. Yes. Ordering a ready-made product is easier.
So what happened to the eco business?
It is still active,
Okay.
but it is growing very, very slowly. And it's one of the very few examples in all of this place.
Okay, well, we can touch base upon the policy and regulation influence by the government as well. What policy changes or government initiatives do you believe could most effectively support the growth of sustainable business models like yours and conservation efforts in Cyprus?
Carbon tax. That's it.
And can you elaborate on it? What
Sure.
is carbon tax and how does it work?
So every product or service has a cost where there's something to be produced or some service to be actually delivered. There is carbon footprint or ecological footprint, including all the other things that is taken from the nature or resources to actually deliver that product. So this is not very difficult. It is doable. For every item or service, you have to calculate the ecological footprint. This is something similar to, on the labels of products, you have a list of ingredients or the weight or the calories, how much calories it has. It is something like that. You need an independent agency with experts who know how to calculate all this, and every product has a ecological footprint, and according to that footprint, they put a tax on it. The bigger ecological footprint, the more tax there is. And when you have a carbon tax, people are discouraged to pay a lot more money for something which has a big ecological footprint. And also, if they really want to buy it for their luxury and outrageous lifestyle, then with the tax they pay, this can be funding more ecological projects and compensating for the footprint that they're producing. It's not that difficult.
Are there any examples to this from around the world?
There was something like this. In Switzerland, I know, for the imported fruits, they had a little sticker showing it's an airplane and showing that it is imported from overseas. So people know that it is not local, it has transportation cost and so something simple like that. but a tax is like money is the universal language which everyone understands. So carbon tax is a good way of solving this.
Okay. We can move on to talking a bit more about ecotourism and sustainable revenue streams as well, maybe, because you have a background in outdoor education and ecotourism. We would like to ask you how businesses can create sustainable revenue streams while promoting environmental awareness and conservation.
Let's start with an example.
Okay.
My work in ecotourism is specifically guiding nature hikes. So we have a lot of people interested in spending time in the nature, seeing different things. So we organize days where we go for hiking, and we have foreign tourists coming as well in groups. And in 1 year, in Alev Kayası, which is one of the best hiking areas, I showed the same orchid to 3 different groups over a month, or a period of 1 month. So this flower, this plant, which is growing in its natural habitat, we didn't use the habitat, we didn't waste any resources, we didn't even pick the flower, they only took pictures, and it was used sustainably to create a revenue with many different groups of people and the groups were from France coming. And we talked about how Cyprus is an island in the history and historically famous for their orchids and things. And so you can actually make money without excavating the natural resources and selling them in tons. So there could be a shift from selling items and material products to services, experiences. You can sell experiences. Instead of people shopping for their 10th and 15th pair of shoes, they can go have a massage, they can go have a yoga experience, something. They can watch a play or listen to live music. And this is more sustainable. They are not using up resources which are not renewable. So there can be a shift to a society where people are more focused on services and entertainment and experience. It can be a training as well. You can learn something, a new skill, instead of buying a new car.
Finally, I think we will touch base on community engagement and stakeholder involvement. Many of your projects involve community engagement, as you mentioned. How important would you say is local stakeholder participation in the success of sustainable business models? And what approaches have you found most effective in fostering this collaboration?
Engagement of the local community, of course, and the more people involved in these projects in a sustainable way of living, of course, it is integral part of it. Maybe initially a small group of people or an individual can start, and but in order for it to be meaningful and effective, it has to be a lot more people taking part in this. It's very difficult. People are used to their ways of doing things and their habits. It's very difficult to change their traditional way of living and to make them do something differently. One of the best ways is to be a role model for the children at an early age, and to be a good role model, you have to really believe in it. You cannot just say that they should reduce their waste, stop buying things, and then you go and buy yourself. You don't do. If you are not doing it yourself, then you are not you don't have the credibility anyway. So it is important to find the people who really believe and change their lifestyles in a sustainable way and get them to be role models for the younger generation. And even for the other public as well, to the adults. You may not get 100% of the people to follow you, but there will be some people who take it as an example and maybe partly do it.
I think you touched on many topics that are intertwining at the end of the day, right? We don't want to pass just theoretical information on sustainability. So therefore services comes into play with the experiences. We can actually connect with the thing that we are trying all to preserve. And ultimately, it's not really a separation. It's not me being the steward of this. It's we are in relation. What we don't understand if this change doesn't happen, if we don't find these role models, if we don't really believe in it, as you said, we will pay the cost, and it will not be a tax. It will be a heavier cost.
Yes.
That we will collectively pay.
It's a very complex problem, and complex problems need complex solutions.
Yes.
You need to integrate education at the schools, education of the public, the daily life, and then you have to have enforcement. You can put fines as well as rewards, tax deductions for sustainable businesses. You can add carbon tax, and you can provide more opportunity for people to become role models. You have to tackle this complex problem in every possible way. But the bottom line is that the majority has to be interested, at least, in doing this. If not the majority, the authorities. What majority wants is not always for the good of the majority. The authorities need to be a little bit more smart about it, have long-term plans, and think for the good of the whole community, and make decisions accordingly so that this complex problem can be solved somehow.
We hope for.
We hope, and we try. We can only try.
Yes. Thank you, Tuğberk, for your time.
Thank you.